Well, hey there, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Another Wednesday, another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. Happy to be here. As usual, this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. I hope you will stop by to see any and all previous Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings and like and subscribe. If you are interested in voiceover coaching with me, I'd love to have you. Just visit my website, davefennoy.com. Click on the Study VO tab at the top, and you can book yourself. And right now is a great time to do that because right now I've got a back-to-school sale. We're going to call it Fall 20. 20% off all coaching packages, 5, 10, or 20 with the coupon code Fall 20 now through the end of October. I mean, the kids are going back to school. Why shouldn't you? Anyway, what else is going on? You've heard me mention Backyard Jazz. My wife and I, before the pandemic, were doing concerts in our backyard, raising funds that would benefit inner city music programs. Still doing that. We've got one coming up September 1st, 2 to 6 p.m. It's $65 and your donation covers everything: music, food, drinks. You don't have to come out of your pocket for anything else. Biscuits and Gravy, amazing R&B band that you're just going to love. And we'll also be making an in-kind donation to the Kamala Walls campaign. So have a few more tickets left. If you'd like to be there, just click on backyardjazz.org and get yourself a ticket. Want to say happy birthday to a buddy of mine, Slim the Reason Parham, and voiceover actor. He's been a voice on this show, a guest on this show. And also, he is a member and a very active member of NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors. He was one of the crew that has been to Washington a couple of times on our behalf, talking about AI and laws that we need in place to protect us and our careers. Let's see, what else is going on? Let's see. Oh, yeah, coming up, I'm going to do some traveling. 3rd of September, I'll be... that, of course, is Clementine and Sultan, my two dogs, who decided to come down and spend time with me. Now, I told them they were going to have to be quiet. Come here. Sit and be quiet. Just like kids. They're going to bark again. I just know it. Anyway, coming up September 4th through the 9th, I'm going to be attending Viva Voz in Bogota, Colombia. It's a voiceover conference. I'll be doing a lecture on voice acting for video games. I'll be teaching some workshops and giving a speech about the challenge and hopeful benefits of AI for voice actors. And as we talk about things today, I think that's something that we could talk about. So, how about you? Are you watching the Democratic National Convention? I'm going to be honest. I saw excerpts from the Republican convention. I just didn't want to do that much negativity. But I am really excited about the prospects of where America can go watching the Democratic National Convention. One of the things I noticed, people are so excited. People are there. The rooms are packed. Everywhere that Kamala and Tim Walz now goes, packed. People are excited. And best of all, it's us. It's all of us. It's everybody. Every walk of life, every age, every color, every persuasion. This is America. This. I have that feeling I had back in 2008 when Barack Obama was running for president, and it was the most excited I had ever been for a presidential election. And yes, I'm going to say it, part of the reason is because I'm black and he's black. And for so many years, those of us who are minorities, those of us who might be gay or something else, whatever ism you might be, felt left out, felt like we weren't going to have a chance, that America wasn't ready to have a insert group here as president. Well, we now know America is ready. Not all Americans, but America is ready. And I'm excited by the idea of Kamala Harris being president, partially because she is such an outstanding candidate. When you look at her history, where she came from, and where she has gone in her life, she's an amazing candidate. She rose from, well, I'm not going to say nothing, but from the middle class. She certainly didn't come up with a silver spoon in her mouth. I love her choice of Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. What a great choice. He is just a guy. He's smart. He's down to earth, school teacher, football coach, and definitely on the side of the American people. I'm not talking about those billionaires that Donald Trump is courting. But if we want to talk about that a little bit, that's great too. Also, I'll mention a little bit more about this. It's not just me that is excited about the candidacy of Kamala and company. The rest of America is. She is drawing amazing crowds, and the numbers keep going up, those poll numbers. And I know this is driving Trump crazy. He just has real issues with the size of things. Crowd size, his hand size, and maybe the size of some other things. Who knows? For those of you who may not be that political, and I promise you this isn't always going to be a political show, but for those of you who may not be that political or still on the fence or wonder why, the Democratic Party now, with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I know they're going to continue to try to expand access to affordable health care for people, hopefully Medicare for all. Yeah, I know. It's really complicated to have Medicare for all, to have universal health care, because only 33 of 34 industrialized nations have done it. And yeah, we're the one who we can't seem to get it together. The Democrats, of course, support a woman's right to make her own reproductive choices. That's huge. There's only one room in that doctor's office for the patient. The doctor may be a nurse, but definitely not some politician trying to tell her what she has to do. Getting billionaires to pay their fair share of taxes. Handling the spiraling costs of living, getting that under control. What we're experiencing, the word keeps going, inflation. It's not inflation. It's greed. It's greed by the corporations who are making record profits. They're bragging about it. Wall Street has doubled. We've never seen numbers like this on Wall Street. They're making money hand over fist. Are they paying their employees more? No. They're definitely paying their CEOs more. And continuing to charge more, because one of the raison d'etres of capitalism is to have a 3% growth every year. Nothing can have a 3% growth every year sustainable forever. So rather than pay their workers, rather than, hey, we're making the same amount of money and it's great and it's a lot of money every year. No, we got to make more. We got to make more. We'll do shrinkflation. We'll shrink the boxes, put less in, and charge more. It's just greed. It's just greed. Common sense gun laws. More people, including children, are killed via gun violence than any place else on the planet unless they're at war. Keeping and improving the public school system and education. The Republicans want to eliminate the Department of Education. They would like to see everything go to something privatized that is going to leave American kids out, the vast majority of them out. We're in a world where education is key. And I think part of their raison d'etre is, we can't trust people who are smart. They can think. They won't fall for our bullshit. And of course, freedom of religion. We have a lot of so-called Christians out there now. I'm not putting all the Christians in one pot. But there are nationalist Christians now that want Christianity to become the religion of the United States. This is a country that partially was founded on the idea of freedom of religion, which also means freedom from religion. You can worship the way you want. Christian, Jews, Muslim, whatever. No religion. But you can't make people pray the way you pray to the God you pray to, follow the things that you think you need to do. But enough of that. I'm going to look a little bit over here, see what comments might have come up about what we're talking about. Mr. Bernard Tanner. To not be interested in politics is to agree to be ruled by bad men. Aristotle. Goes way back. That's an old quote. But if anybody could come up with an old quote, it would be you, Bernard. Bernard is one of the best read people I know. Sometimes I'm embarrassed at what he knows that I don't, and I consider myself a pretty well-read person. Terry Briscoe, the price gouging is outrageous. It is. Let's see. LC, what have you got? Hey, Dave, I'm stopping by to say hello, but going back to watching the DNC and supporting our mutual Howard U. Bison VP Kamala Harris as 47th President of the United States. Yeah, I'm proud to say I went to the same school. I went to Howard as well, and couldn't be prouder of that. All right, let me move on to some other things. Especially when it's just me, sometimes I want to, prime the well a little bit. I was looking through Facebook and I happened upon a question that was asked by Karen Gilfrey. And for those of you who don't know Karen, she is an amazing talent. She is also amazing as a supporter of voice actors. She is one of the founding members of NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors. She started a conversation on Facebook today. She asked on Facebook, in your opinion, what is the biggest problem in the VO industry? AI, falling rates, emerging tech, union work, something else? A couple of interesting comments. Jamie Muffett, with whom she does a podcast. I think it depends on your situation. If you're starting out, your biggest problem... Hey, cut the crap. There's clearly another dog walking by that they can't get out and bark at. Jamie Muffett said, I think it depends on your situation. Hey, stop. If you're starting out, your biggest problem is everything you don't know. If you're more established, your biggest problem is differentiating yourself from the crowd. If you're full-time, it's fulfilling your work obligations to the highest quality while nurturing and continuing to grow your relationships and staying on the cutting edge of industry shifts. Now, I'm in that last category there. People who are starting out now don't know a whole lot, and they're trying to learn it. People who, they've been going for a little bit. I've had a really good career for a really long time. My biggest problem is having to run so fast to keep from falling too far behind, because this world is changing faster now than ever before. Technology is moving like this, and it's almost like if you're over 50, you need to find somebody 20 to help you with how the world works now. But of course, that 20-year-old needs you to help them learn how to make the world work. Also had a great comment from Bob Bergen. He says the biggest problem we have is the vastness of the internet. It lumps everyone together, which is not true and counterproductive. Everyone's on a different path. Everyone's in a different location, some of us in the U.S. and some not. Everyone has questions. Or I should say that the internet has questions, but not in enough detail. Somebody's looking to break into VO, they're asking questions, but you discover, oh, they're not from the United States. They're someplace else. They're in the UK. They're in Mexico. They're in Nigeria. How VO works in different places is different. After many answers of advice, it comes out, hey. The other problem with the internet is the phenomena of making money trumps being a brilliant actor. Now, this is something, when I was coming along, people weren't teaching you how to make money. They weren't teaching you how to market yourself, a little bit. But they weren't teaching you that, okay, get started. These are the number of letters you need to write. Do this and this and this to make some money. It was about perfecting your craft. It was about becoming the artist that you wanted to be. That has changed. That has changed. I know how offended I am sometimes when I'm scrolling through the internet and I see one of those hi, would you like to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in voiceover? Well, just call us and I want to help people succeed in voiceover as a voiceover coach. And yes, I want you to make a living. I want you to do well. But the carrot for me isn't the money that you think you're going to make. The carrot is the joy, the reward of being that good actor that will be rewarded. Yes, you're going to have to do some things that aren't voiceover. You're going to have to do some promotion. Hopefully you'll be able to get an agent who also helps with promotion, maybe a manager who's helping with promotion. But the craft, really? Sultan, Clementine, come here. Come. Stop. I apologize. My dogs are being very disruptive. The craft. It's about the craft. Anyway, I'm going to take a little break from just going over what I was going over, and let's see what some of you have to say. Let's see. Maurice A. Scott, not all of the founders were Christian and had no intention of the country becoming Christian. So true, so true, so true. And once again, not knocking Christianity or anybody's religion. I'm just saying, doesn't matter what your religion is. Have it, don't have it, it's not my business. And my religion, whatever it is, isn't your business. A very good many of them had no use for religion. Well, you know, there's an old saying, more blood has been shed in the name of religion than any other cause. And there's a certain amount of truth to that, except for usually it's not so much the religion as it is the people who are practicing that religion wanting to be superior to, take charge of, have control of the people who have another religion. The battles that went on in Northern Ireland between Protestants and Christians. It was supposedly religious. It really wasn't religious. It was a ruling class and an underclass who happened to have those religions. And you're going to find that often. Terry Briscoe again. Have you ever had to deal with bad reviews on something you did? If so, how did you deal with it? You know, I don't read that many reviews, so I'm going to say no. Most of the time when I have bad reviews, they're from me. I don't know how you feel about your work. I love doing the work. Often I love my performance, and often I'm listening to a performance, God, I could have done that better. Or, why'd they use that take? I know I had a better take in there. And I know I'm not the only actor that goes through that. That our true love is not the outcome, it's the process. I know a lot of my on-camera acting friends won't watch their work because they love doing the work. They don't like watching themselves. One of the things that I know happens with me is I can remember kind of what I was thinking and feeling at the time. And just sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have done that better. Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's see. LC once again. It would be awesome, and I'm praying for both you and I to be hired as her male and female inaugural ball VO announcers, especially as Howard U alumni. I'm working on it, praying on it to become real. I would love to be one of those voices. I've had the good fortune of doing some work, announcing some things for Barack Obama when he was president, one of the honors of my life. So I'd love to. I'd love to. Terry again, what you got here? I believe that gatekeepers who refuse to accept things have changed over the years and a huge problem in the industry. It's very true. It's very true. But I'm going to talk about those gatekeepers. You know, there are people who, the ebb and flow of talent, moving in, moving up. There are people who are responsible, who some of us owe various jobs to for whatever reason. I like to think it's because of your talent, but often it has to be more. You know, you have to be good, and you have to have some luck. And you know the definition of luck: when preparation meets opportunity, then you get lucky. So definitely be prepared, and that's that part of putting yourself in the right place, finding the right people, finding the right agent, marketing yourself well. It's very different now than it was when I started. When I started in this business, I needed to be really good. I needed good demo tapes, and I needed a good agent that could put me out there, present me to the buying audience. And that worked for me. We're in a different world now. It's very much a do-it-yourself world. And you have to do things I never had to do or didn't have to do for a long time. I have a home studio now. I didn't have a home studio, say, for the first 10 years of being in this business, because you went to your agents to audition, or you went to an audition house to audition, and you went to some studio to do your work. Now, you can't be in this business if you don't have a home studio, which means you need to learn how to put together a home studio or pay somebody to put together a home studio for you. You need to learn what equipment you need to buy or have somebody with the expertise to help you choose the right equipment that you need. I think it's a lot harder now. On one hand, there's a lot more work than ever before. When I got into the business and doing promos, we had 4 networks, maybe 5, and a few cable stations. Well, now we've got cable stations and apps, and the promo work is coming out of our ears. Audiobooks were not a thing when I started in this business. Audiobooks are a thing. Now, you're not going to get rich doing audiobooks. You can have a good living. I know it because I know so many people who do. And I tell the story from time to time of why I don't do a lot of audiobooks. I was doing promos at ABC, walked in the door, they handed me a piece of paper, it had a word on it. I said, "That's one word." He said, "Yeah, say it. Next." They put it on 25 spots, and a couple weeks later, I had a check for $5,000. I think about that when I'm looking at page after page after page after page of narration. Now, I'm not saying any of this to disparage the work of audiobook narrators. I salute you. You do wonderful work. I have listened to a lot of audiobooks. My wife loves to listen to them in the car. Audiobook narrators, many of them are just doing amazing work. But I'm spoiled. I'm a little spoiled. Gonna be completely honest, I'm finishing up an audiobook right now. I don't do many of them. But a friend of mine that I used to work for asked me, so I did, and I'll be glad when this one's done, but I'm very proud of it. Let's see. Undertaker, favorite lead line in The Walking Dead. Clementine, keep your hair short. Don't trust anybody. Let's say, Shantae McCormick, any thoughts on the narrative AI relationship announced to SAG-AFTRA members last week? You know, I read that memo, got that memo, and what they're basically saying is, and our agents are saying, A, come through them, and B, we don't know exactly how this is going to work yet. So I think there's still more we have to wait on with that. Speaking of AI, like I said, I'm going to be in Bogota, Colombia in the first week of September, and I'm giving a talk on AI, specifically about AI as it relates to the dubbing industry. Dubbing has looked for a while like it was going to be a big open door for voiceover artists. People, especially in Latin American countries, have been the masters of dubbing because so many American and English shows were being dubbed into Spanish. They've done a lot more of it than we have. And one of the reasons I'm down there, going to be going down there to talk about it, is because there is an AI, there's a chance that AI is going to take over a lot of that work. One of the things that AI can do is translate from one language to another. They can have you speaking in English and take that and translate it like that to you speaking in another language. Now, how well how well that actually touches people's ears, their heads, their hearts. If it's like so much of the AI voices that we hear, if you're on TikTok or you're scrolling through Facebook, you're hearing a lot of the same voices doing a lot of things. Some of the voices are wonderful, but there's always something that's just a little off because it's not a human being connected to the things that they're saying. Hopefully they'll never fix that. Terry again. I'm working on the last audiobook I will ever do right now. I'm going to tell you, Terry, I thought I had until my friend got me on the phone. And I said, oh, man, I don't do audiobooks. I'm notorious for having said I've done 3 and hope to never do a 4th. And he says, come on, it's great. So at least take a listen, take a look at it, read it a little bit. So I did, and it was like, oh, this is a great story. But doing the work, much as I love the story, it's a great book, has shown me again why I don't want to do audiobooks and why I have to salute audiobook narrators just for being able to go at it hour after hour. One of the reasons for me, too busy. I'm either working on some other project, I'm doing a game, I'm doing some commercials, I'm doing some promos, I'm teaching a class or teaching some students, and you really need to be able to have good chunks of time to go through those scripts. Let's see. Robbins. Hi, Dave. Any tips on reading copy for long periods of time? I read aloud from a novel for an hour and I'm already tired. How do people do 4-hour sessions? That's a good question. I don't know. Actually, I kind of do from working on this book. You have to take it in chunks. You have to give yourself a break. You have to make sure a break and rest kind of ran together in my head. You have to give yourself a rest. That's what I meant. A break, a rest. Keep hydrated. Make sure you have water around. One of the things that works for me is when my voice does get tired, and it does, and can get a little more raspy than I want it to be. Take a break. Have some hot water with lemon and honey. You can throw some tea in there too, but it's the hot water, the lemon, and the honey that are soothing my throat. I don't have to have the tea. But take a break. I know from working video games and doing a lot of hard shouting, they used to give you a break every hour. A lot of directors now are giving you a break every 20 minutes. Your voice can get damaged. You shout for an hour, 2 hours, chances are your voice is going to get damaged. It'll come back, but it'll get damaged. Don't be that hero that, no, I can do it, coach. No, we got to get this done. I'll shout for 4 hours. You're better off going 20 minutes, take a 10-minute break, 20 minutes, take a 10-minute break, 20 minutes, take a 10-minute break, because your voice will heal. It'll return. You give it a chance to rest rather than going longer and longer and longer. So shorter periods of talking, take a little rest. I read somewhere once that the people who have the most problems with their voices are school teachers, because they're standing up all day talking to their students, giving lectures, telling them about this and that and the other. And I think singers and now we voice actors are close to being at the top of that list. Aisha Zephyr, how important is it to have demos produced in LA versus other areas of the world? I was told directors listen for demos that sound like they were produced in LA. Is that really a thing? I'm going to say I don't think you have to have demos that sound like they were produced in LA. You do want professionally produced demos. But that could be, they're doing them in Chicago, they're doing them in New York, they're doing them here, they're doing them in San Francisco and other places. The business has changed quite a bit in that you can be anywhere and do this business. So a lot of people that at one time were here or at one time would have had to have been here are someplace else. So I don't think it's necessary that your demos have to come from LA. But your demos do need to demonstrate an understanding of the sound of now in whatever genre you're working in. So if you've got a commercial demo, you don't want it to sound 5 years old. You want it to sound like what do commercials sound like now. If you're doing TV promos, you want it to sound like promos now. Narration. Don't do a TV promo demo and the shows are 5 or 6 years old. That is more the kind of thing that they're talking about, the kinds of products. Think about the products in a commercial demo. If you're talking about, and I'm going way back here just to make the point, but if you're talking about VHS tapes, who uses VHS tapes? People want a sense of now, a sense of today. So one of the reasons isn't necessarily that your reads are old, although that can be a factor too, but the fact that the products that you are talking about are products that were popular 10 years ago. This this world is changing fast, fast, fast. If you're going to do an automotive, you better have an electric car in there. You better have a hybrid car in there. All right, Michael Ablis. There are jobs I can get and there are jobs I want to get. They rarely overlap. I'm fortunate to be comfortable, but I really want to jump the rails. Was there a point for you where your wants met your opportunities, or have you been able to do the jobs you wanted since early on? I've had a mix of both. I've had some clients that loved my work that I wasn't that proud of. They hired me all the time because coming out of radio, I could do that hard sell. I can, and I did a lot of that. I enjoyed doing it. It wasn't the proudest work. When I came to LA, I thought, oh, I'm going to be the next Don LaFontaine. Well, that never happened. Yes, I've done my share of trailers, but the industry did not choose me to be a trailer voice. It did choose me to be a narration voice, a TV promo voice, a cartoon voice, a video game voice. Did I say narration? I can't remember what I said anymore. It chose me to do a lot of different things. But yes, every actor, every one of your favorite actors you've seen in some dogs. You've seen them in some terrible TV shows, some really bad movies, because we're actors and this is what we do. Not everything we get to do is going to be the quality necessarily that we want to do. Be happy that you're not stuck doing work that doesn't satisfy you. I'm going to say that you feel is beneath you. Most of the work in voiceover work, if you're doing it, you're fortunate. I'm fortunate. We're fortunate. And yet, sometimes we want to do work that is more sophisticated, more something different about it that we find it's, more worthy for some reason. I'm not going to say get over that because I don't think you can, but just understand, you're going to have some A work and you're going to have some C and D work. And ultimately, the money's all green. LC again. What the heck do we legally protect ourselves from voices being stolen from auditions or our demo tapes, MP3 submissions? Good question, because over the years that has happened from time to time, and especially now that we're in the world where so many people are not union, and so many people are out there being a lone ranger, trying to do this work, and there are unscrupulous people out there who are not only want to steal your voice, they want to steal your money. Oh yeah, you did this job for, I sent you a check, it was too much. I sent you 10,000. No, we're only supposed to send you 1,000. Could you send me the balance? It's crazy out there. One of the reasons we do need a union, because when you have a union, you have somebody to go collect your money for you. But yeah, you have to be careful. I don't know exactly how to spot who those people are. Sometimes, if they've done it once or twice, the word goes out in the community, which is a good reason that we have the community. And it's usually people who are new to this that learn that lesson and hopefully never have to go through that again. LC, is that something that has happened to you? I'm going to go way, way, way back. I'd forgotten about this. This was in the 90s. I was still pretty fresh in voiceover in LA and coming out of radio in Northern California. Somebody hired me to be the voice of a tour of a group of bands. And if you listen to R&B radio or rock radio, you hear these tours. That's right, it's going to be so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. It's going to be amazing, 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 amazing. Get on down. They hired me to do. It was going to be several $1,000s worth of work, and but they needed this stuff fast. Oh, they gave me a little bit of money in front. I produced all these things. I sent them out, and then the game started. Oh yeah, well till the concerts are done, we don't have the money, and da 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 da. I never got paid for that. It was a lesson I had to learn. So yeah, that stuff is out there. Uh, Once again, if it sounds too good to be true, sometimes it is. Sometimes we so want to do the work that we quiet that little voice that says, you know what, something's wrong with this. And I did. I had quieted that little voice that said, oh, there's not enough. There's no lawyer. There's no agent. There's no. Well, why'd you make me remember that? So be careful. Just be careful. J. Horace Black, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Dave. I am like you in that I'm doing second audiobook on a special case situation, positive affirmations for black men, kids, second book for same author in 2 weeks. And guess what? You're probably going to do a hell of a job on it, and they're going to ask you to do more. And then you'll have to decide. It's funny. Sometimes the industry chooses what it wants from you. You stepped into the room and said, I want that over there. And the industry says, nope, you're going to get that over there. As long as they're paying you and you like the work, okay. Grabagoo Tremataz? Dave, I love your work and wanted to say thank you so much for ever since I played The Walking Dead. Preach to you, brother. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Kind of you to say. What mic are you using? Now, if you're talking about right here, right now, I'm using a little shotgun mic that, let's see. Oh, you can see it there. No, it's not a 416. I was trying out a mic to see how it would do. It's, what is this? I forget what it is. At MD something. A couple $100. Decent mic. Not as good as a 416, but a decent mic for what I'm doing now. In my booth, right next door there, I have a 416. It is what I use 95% of the time. Occasionally, I will swing my TLM 103 into place and use it. I have available a U87, a U67, and a bunch of other mics that I've collected over the years because like the tennis player or the golfer who screws up his shot and then looks at the club. It's the club. It's the racket. No, it's you. The lesson learned is get something decent that works for you, and you don't have to go through buying mic after mic after mic. I give myself a pat on the back and say it's okay because I made a lot of money over the years and could afford it. But once again, my 416 is my go-to mic. And I'm not saying that you need to go with a 416. It's moderately priced as mics go, $900 any day of the week. Most of the other mics, U87 is going to cost you, $2,500 to $3,500. Anyway, let's see. LC, only want to do short audiobooks for children. Fun and short. Yeah. When you start looking at 350 pages and more, you're like, oh my God. Shell, you reminded me of something. Warm pineapple juice actually is very good. Pineapple juice is great to drink. I am sorry I didn't think of that because I do use that from time to time. Pineapple juice will really help your throat. I love it. Let's see. Spirals. I can smell cheap Moscato through the screen during Kamala's speeches. Cheap Moscato. You can smell through the screen. Okay. All right. All right. Shell again. Also, the vocal cords are the smallest muscle in the human body. Are they now? I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Jeremy Adams, hey Dave, when auditioning for characters, where do you get inspiration for trying something new, especially when you're not sure what everyone else is doing in theirs? Let me work backwards. Who cares what everybody else is doing in theirs? You are you. Jeremy, the secret sauce for you is you. It's your voice print. It's the rhythm of how you speak. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Let me pull that back up so I can see that the last thing got me. Where do I get inspiration for trying something new? One, I'm not usually trying to find something, I want to do something different than everybody else, because I'm not worried about everybody else. I'm trying to find truth of character. What I want is for you to believe who this character is. So based on what that character looks like, if they have a picture, based on the backstory they have about that character, what is this character's worldview? What is it that this character wants? What is this character's relationship with the people or creatures or whatever that they're coming into contact with? That's what I build a character around. It's not a specific voice. Yes, that does come into play. A lot of times they'll say, well, we want a particular accent or something. Yeah, okay, that does come into play. But what I'm trying to play, what I'm working to have come across, is that you believe this character is real. Is that you understand that what I'm reacting to, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. In my movement in the booth, you understand that I'm scratching my chin and I'm looking up over there and grabbing something. That's what I want. I want you to believe the character. All right. Tiana Ma. I remember finishing narrating a 13-plus hour audiobook. Oh, I'm so sorry. I honestly felt like I had reached the peak of a mountain after a grueling climb. Oh, my good friend Scott Brick, master narrator of audiobooks, says, audiobooks is for you if you don't mind being in a closet for 8 hours reading something. If not, maybe it's not for you. And I'm going to say, I now have done 4, maybe 5 in my career. I hope not to do another one, but you never know. Something else might inspire me to do another one. I like Fisherman's Friends lozenges, licorice tea, and lemon for helping the voice. Also green apples. Green apples is great. I try to stay away from stuff that has sugar in it. Honey, yeah, sweet. It'll spike your blood sugar, but it doesn't mess with your throat. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Cunningham. If you want a great mic that is 90% as good as a 416 and really well priced, Audio Technica AT875R. Well, thank you, Mike Cunningham. And by the way, Audio Technica is one of the brands that would be approved for a less than stellar mic. You know, the Rode AT1, not the 1A, the Rode AT1. Great mic. Audio Technica makes some great mics. Rode makes some other great mics. Let's see. Oh, since Mike was up there, let's get him the... this mic only costs $250 per hour. Mic only costs $250 per hour, 2-hour minimum? Oh, this mic. Ha, I get it. It's Mike Cunningham. That's the mic we're talking about. This mic right here. This one over here. All right, Terry Briscoe. Hey, is Uncle Roy around? Did I miss Uncle Roy someplace? Maybe I did. Well, Uncle Roy, if you were here, I'm glad you stopped by. And By the way, Uncle Roy, one of those fixtures, demo tapes, advice on equipment, and just about every voiceover convention, he is there handling sound. He is a fixture in this business. Furby Flash, I've been planning on doing more character voice impression videos. Okay. And I've known some people, especially if you can do character, famous politicians, famous actors, athletes, whatever, people that are well known, if you can do those voices, there's a career right there. Not something I could ever do. Well, I'm not going to say not something I ever do. By the time I got into voiceover, I think I had allowed some people to beat out of me the imitating other people. When I was a kid, I could do all the cartoon voices because I'd listened to all the Bill Cosby records. I had a great Bill Cosby, but somehow over the years I let go of that. I used some of it in radio as a morning jock on KSOL up in San Francisco. So I got to use some voices, but not those voices. So I do have voices I've developed that are character voices, but they're not copies of people out there. And I stand in awe of the people now, grown folks, who can listen to a voice and copy it. And part of the reason I'm saying this is because you don't have to do everything. I can't tell you how often early in my career, especially in sessions with animation, where you could be intimidated. I can do a lot of voices, but there are people who can do a lot more voices than me. Being on a job with a Bob Bergen earlier in my career, in the early 90s, I probably would have been somewhat intimidated by the fact that he can do all these well-known gold-plated cartoon characters. But what I discover is that's a very specific talent that he has, and doesn't mean he can't create his own voices as well. He does. Anybody will tell you, even though he's the known voice of Porky Pig, he couldn't live on that money. He's a very, very, very talented voice actor, and one of his main talents is creating believable characters, believable cartoon characters. Aisha Zephyr, have you ever encountered lower budgets for AA specific scripts or heard of this happening versus our non-AA scripts? I typically encounter GVAA standard pricing, but is that wise when starting out? Counter with, yeah. You know what? I think it is. And one of the things that happens when we're starting out is we're trying to get a foothold, and you're trying to make a few bucks, and you're not going to make as much money starting out as you are later on. Once you know that you are going to be hired, you stop doing that thing of, oh God, I got to get this job. Okay, let me. People have taken advantage of those of us who are artists so often. Because we want the job, because we're doing this not just because we want the job, but also because we love doing this. When I was a musician, I heard and fell prey to that, well, we don't really have enough money to pay you, but hey, think of the recognition you get, think of the exposure you're getting. But you can't live on exposure. And sometimes it just takes time and success and a little wisdom to learn you've got to let that go. And yes, people are going to lowball you. And you need to be able to come back with, no, this is work. And it might feel a little difficult now. There are more of us in the voiceover business now than ever before. And you've got a lot of people out there that are so eager, oh, $25, I'll do it for $25. Those people are out there. They're going to get $25 worth of work. They're not going to get you. They're not going to get your quality. So trust in what you do and who you are, and don't overprice yourself, but price yourself fairly. And I think it's very wise to use the GVAA. But yeah, especially when you're starting out, people will try to get you for next to nothing. Let's see. Kim Fuller, a student I had just the other day. How are you, Kim? Good to see you here. Pop in with J. Horse Black one more time. Dave, are you doing the edits and revisions on the audiobook you're doing? Or are they doing the editing, inserting all of the pickups and stuff? No, I'm doing it! It's for a friend! And this is a book that takes place across the world, so there are lots of accents, and lots of I don't speak Italian. I speak French, and we all think we have a good Italian accent until you actually have to speak Italian, and then you realize, you don't know nothing. So that's one of the tougher things for me, is getting this Italian accent right with the characters who are Italian. But these are the things that are the challenge, the joy of audiobooks, is playing characters from around the world of all ages, male and female, good people, bad people, just bringing these characters to life. And how far do you go with that? I know there are audiobook narrators that just give a little touch that lets you know who these characters are. And some who completely change up their voice. I'm closer to that, not completely that, who change up their voice and bring you characters that are, African or South American or Asian or Indian or French or English or whatever. So that's the way we go. But audiobooks, once again, I've done 4 or 5 now. I hope to never do a 6th. All right. Anybody else? Where are we? Got because we're going to wrap this up. Because I tell you what I'm going to do. When we're done here, I'm going upstairs, and I'm going to turn on the Democratic National Convention, like I had it on the other day, and I have just loved seeing Kamala and Joe Biden's speech. And like everybody else, I want to thank him for his 50 years of public service. I am going to be looking forward to Tim Walz's speech. I know they went someplace else. They weren't even in Chicago. They were, I think, in Milwaukee last night. But they managed to pull them in. This thing was just brilliant. Playing the music of artists from every state while they're doing the roll call. Just amazing. Michelle Obama brought me to tears. As a matter of fact, I was in tears quite a bit watching this convention, and hope to be inspired and in tears again a little later tonight. And then her husband, Barack Obama, was almost as good as Michelle was. She knocked it out of the park. He was great, but she knocked it out of the park. And it just brought me back to 2008 and those years when he was president. And I'm looking forward to Kamala and Tim, hopefully a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, and getting some things done for the people of America. The billionaires have enough. The corporations have enough. The people who work, and I still consider myself a working person. Yes, I do very well. But none of us who are doing voiceover are going to work our way out of the working class. You're working, if you're making $200,000-$300,000 a year, you're still working class. That's a lot of money. You're doing well. Still working class. Still not paying the taxes, or still paying more taxes than the billionaires. Anyway, that's enough. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm going to leave you again. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much I enjoy speaking with you, taking your questions, keeping it simple, off the cuff. A reminder, this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you would like to take some voiceover training with me, you can visit my website, davefennoy.com. And right now, if you visit, you can get 20% off all coaching packages. That's 5, 10, or 20 sessions with the coupon code FALL20, now through the end of October. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. And what do I usually say? Book something and get paid for it. But book something.